What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to Frieren Season 2, Episode 3. The journey continues, and I'm not going to delay at all, so feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, consider becoming a channel member if you want to support me just that little bit extra, and let's get into this. Straight into the intro. I'm curious to see where we go this time. The last two episodes have been very sorta isolated, all things considered, so I wonder if we'll stick with isolated storylines or if we'll start moving more into, I don't know, some kind of bigger arc. Either way is fine with me, though, because I just enjoy our little group we got. This opening has really grown on me. I need to listen to it more. It's only been like 3 episodes, not even, but it does such a good job of fitting the vibe, I feel. This part in particular is so fucking good to me. The visual and audio, like, combo, just on the beat, changing a visual is a favorite thing of mine. I feel like Miss Green Apple has made a lot of really solid openings. I've only heard like a few of them, but Somewhere She'd Like. Okay. The Etwas Mountains, okay. Ooh, that's a fucking great opening shot. Love the light coming through the trees there. Ah. Oh, they're into the volcanic area? Okay. Cool. Awesome. Knew we were coming up on this, but wasn't sure how quickly we'd reach the hot springs. Now, who is the she that is referenced in the title? Oh, no. Oh, God. How long has it been since she was here? Like, 60 years? Leave it to Stark to make friends immediately. Over 30 years ago, yeah, okay. Yeah, that'd do it. Hmm. What's with that expression? You leave him alone for half a century. Damn. Fern was really excited for those hot springs, huh? Oh. Yeah, back when they first dried up. She just knows about it? Uh-huh. Yeah. Seems a bit out of the way. Oh? He's heard about it? Oh. Huh. Seems like he has his own reason. Yeah, seems like he has his own reasons. Hmm. The passage of time. I love the consistent aspect that Stark is the most outgoing of the group and is so capable of making friends, especially with kids. Hmm. What is he doing? Still can't catch big fish, I see. Hmm. Seems a bit unnecessary. Couldn't they just fly? Hmm. I love these little montages in the episodes. So what, 2-day trip so far? You've seen 2 nights. Oh, moss-covered symbol of some kind. Okay. I'm still curious why Stark wants to come up here. She also had that expression earlier. Of course. Yep. A true adventurer at heart. Oh, the same fucking ledge. Oh, geez. Uh-huh. I love the draining enthusiasm of Hyder. Huh. Ooh, that the monster? Already. They faced it and didn't defeat it. Okay. That's a dragon. Are we getting another dragon fight? Please. That's not a dragon. That's maybe a Hydra. Ooh, 3 heads? Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's a Hydra of sorts. And who's the most likely to be able to cut off a head? The guy with an axe. Come on, Stark, you wanted to go to the hot springs. I like the design of this thing. It's not classic Hydra, but it has a vibe to it. Okay, a plan. Immediately going for him. Okay. I'm loving the animation already. There's something to it. They're already in the air. Yeah, there are 3 of them and 3 heads. Yeah. Simultaneous. Yeah. That's the duty of a frontliner. Poor Stark. Oh, my guy. They did it. Is it up there? And they just move. Interesting little side fight that we don't even see too much of. Definitely an ordeal to get to this hot spring. Suppose we'll see if it was worth it. I'm loving these close-up shots. Okay. One little pond with a little bit of like a side bit. This is a nice little comfy spot though. Even if it's shallow. Hmm. I suppose that's true. I suppose this is the shot from some of the promotional material we had, because I think a lot of the promotional material had the three of them, like, with their feet in some water. Hmm. Yeah, why? Okay. He already knew, okay. Ooh. Hell yeah. No matter how mundane or disappointing an adventure was, it was important. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Getting back to those sort of core themes. The journey's important, the time is important. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I like that. It's not every day we see an actual flashback to Stark's time with uh his master. Oh, Fern? Is everyone okay? How did they end up in that position? Yeah. Fucking blob Stark. Oh, oh boy. Oh, okay, next city, Fortress City. Hive, I believe would be the way to say that. An actual hot spring. Did the ears not give away who she is? Cool. A true hot spring city. Another statue of Himmel, of course. Interesting that it's just Himmel. We've seen some of those before, but... Jeez. How long has it been? That sounds like Frieren. Yeah. Maybe we should do something together? Oh, come on, Stark, pick up on it. Oh, that's adorable. Oh, that is so fucking wholesome. Uh-oh. Oh no. How you gonna take that, Fern? The worst fate imaginable. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Uh, God, that's awkward, but okay. I don't know whether I should cheer or cringe for you, Stark. Oh my god, the way her hair is up. Stark. Stark. Oh no. My guy. I honestly think it might be she just doesn't know how to think about it. At least she's self-aware. Oh my god. Sure. Uh-huh. Oh boy. that does not help. Yeah. Oh no. He did it again. Oh no. She says that so smugly. Oh my god. Please let us see what that looks like. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? What? Holy shit. Oh my god. Frieren. Oh boy. Yeah, no. Okay, try to make it good even if it was on weird terms to start. Hmm? Okay. Is Frieren gonna be an actually good wingman for once? Yeah. Hmm. Though, oh boy. Probably. Though Frieren is a bit oblivious, she has been essentially raising Fern, so. Hmm. A nice view to end it off. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Oh. So they got drilled into her head. Technically, all things from her childhood, then, but most of them retain. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. I mean, I think a lot of those things hold true still. Hmm. Yeah, there it is. Hmm. I love this acknowledgement of this aspect of their relationship. Though Frieren is a bit of a baby sometimes. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. I had a feeling. He's a little safer. Now Fern comes to Frieren for some questions. What do you have to say, Fern? Yep. Aw. She really just didn't know how to take it. Why is everyone asking me for advice? Was it with Himmel? that is not a date. Yeah. Is it a case of Himmel just called it that, or did it become a nice, like, afternoon looking for the cat? The smugness. Uh-huh. Is it now? Okay. Great. Yeah, she has no idea what she's talking about. Damn. Well, you win some, you lose some, Frieren. Good advice on the one side, bad advice on the other. Well, not even getting to the advice point. Oh, she's just staying awake? I'm very intrigued by how this is affecting Fern. Hmm. Oh, god damn it, we gotta wait for the date next time? Okay. Alright. I really like how the back half of that episode went. That's really fun. Like, the first part of the episode is really solid. It has a good old payoff at the end with a little bit of a joke to sort of reset things as well. I really appreciate the sort of refocus on that idea that, I don't know, no matter how mundane or pointless or disappointing any like experience is in the moment, if it is with people you care about, it looking back will be incredibly more valuable to you than it was in the moment. Like, I really appreciate hearing that as like the end point to that. It worked really well. But I would definitely say the back half of this episode is what, like, I just enjoy viscerally. as someone who has appreciated the ongoing relationship of Fern and Stark, if we could call it that, seeing, even if it's happening because of almost a taunt. Yeah, ultimately, though I could go more into detail on the first part of the episode, I really want to lock into this back half, because I think it's fun. I enjoy a lot of it. I think I want to start with the thing that instigated this whole situation, being that they're stuck in town for a few days. Frieren is enjoying herself, but leaving Stark and Fern in the dust a little, so they don't really have much to do. Stark has ideas of what he can do in his own time. Stark's always good at making friends. He wants to get his axe sharpened. He can pass the time pretty capably. But Fern doesn't know what she wants to do, doesn't know what she really can do other than just sort of waste the time away, maybe reading. And so because of that, we get this actually very legitimate acknowledgement of her feelings to Stark. Though it is a bit harsh in a way, calling him inconsiderate, her vocalizing that she feels like she is being isolated a little bit, and that she actually wants Stark to pay attention to her, do something with her, that kind of thing, is incredibly wholesome and cute, but also is a major step forward, I feel like, for Fern. Though she has definitely gotten better at it in time, I feel like a big thing for Fern as a character is a struggle for her to express herself. Since we first met her, she has always been a quiet person. She has the capacity to be quite rude at times, especially to Stark, but I would argue that actually comes out more from a unsureness of how to interact with him, being literally the only guy that she has spent an extended amount of time around who is the same age or roughly the same age, and being a girl who has grown up in a situation where her own personal feelings and senses of relationship and stuff have never really been the focus in a romantic direction. Like, that's an idea that realistically hasn't entered her mind much, probably, or at the very least she hasn't felt like she's had the time for it. Because though she's had close relationships and grown to express herself in certain ways, that's mainly been with parental figures or mentor figures or people that she only gets to know for, like, at most a month or two. So since its inception, her relationship with Stark, platonic or otherwise, has been one she has no experience with. So the fact that she directly calls out to him, I want you to pay attention to me, I want to do something with you rather than waste the day away, is a really solid step. Whether it's towards a romantic or just purely platonic direction, it is a great step in their relationship for them to be able to be open with each other, express their feelings, and not run into as many of these awkward moments where she's just sort of quiet or pouty and Stark doesn't really know what to do. Of course, things get messy still in this moment, but it's a good step, I would say. But then what the real breakthrough into what this entire thing becomes is honestly entirely accidental. Stark wants to sort of jab out at her, get back at her for being so hard on him constantly, not recognizing that the card he's about to play is one that is actually going to just either complicate their relationship or push it forward very fast in a direction that probably neither of them were exactly prepared for. Because unlike every other point in the relationship where Stark has just wanted to be treated well and Fern just has been sort of grumpily, quietly wanting to not have her feelings trampled over. In a weird way, they sort of want the same thing from each other. This time, he actually directly states, oh, well, if you're desperate, then why don't you go on a date with me? Assuming that she's going to turn him down, something like that, get flustered, whatever. Very much, it feels like it's a impulse thought brought out in the moment that if he really thought about what the outcome would be, he probably wouldn't have done. Especially given that immediately after he's like, oh shit, she's gonna be mad. But no, she doesn't get mad. She drops her book at the moment that the line is said and rather blank-facedly stands up and walks out of the room to go to her own room, not even picking up her book. Something that inevitably Stark has no way to know how to read. And I feel this gets back to sort of this dampened expression of Fern. When faced with strong emotion and things that she isn't expecting to hear or feel, she is very quick to, at most, have a very muted reaction, if not completely shut down in, like, her reaction at all. And we see that here. She just sort of blankly says, okay, while walking out of the room. Not really sure what to do about this. Which inevitably then leads to the entire context and just circumstance of the rest of the episode, which I love. I love that Frieren gets to sort of have a moment with both of them to sort of try to give some advice, try to sort of be the parent a little bit of these two. Of course, it works better for Stark than it does Fern, but I like that they get this moment, and I love how Stark realistically was standing outside of Fern's door with the book, trying to decide how to go about trying to return the book for who knows how long. It's however long it took for Frieren to come back with ice cream, which I just find really fun. I also find it really cute how Frieren sort of takes Stark through everything she knows that Fern likes. I like the acknowledgement that though she hasn't necessarily figured out too much about what Fern would like as she's grown up, she has strongly remembered and kept hold of the memories of what Heiter had told her that Fern likes. She cares about Fern and wants to make sure she's happy, and thus has held on to these memories of how to make her happy. She's done her best to sort of be this parental figure in many ways, even if that is lacking in certain places. Which ultimately, if we're to pull back a little bit to just the question of what it is to be a good parent, though she definitely could improve in certain ways, I would argue that the best parents are those who try, who, even if they're not perfect, are doing their best. Because even if the outcome isn't perfect, even if the relationship of parent and child becomes messy at some point, the intentionality alone is so much. And I think Stark recognizes that. He acknowledges that her effort to remember all of this and do what she can to make sure Fern is happy proves her to be a good parent in his eyes. Perhaps drawing on some of his own experiences with his two main father figures, being his actual father, who never tried to parent him in a way that would be beneficial to Stark as a person, like never really put in the effort to be a good father, just was this stoic warrior who gave up on him immediately, versus Eisen, who, though not anywhere near a perfect father, took him in, trained him, raised him, told him stories of his times as an adventurer, fed him, raised him, believed in him, gave him the tools to take care of himself. I think Stark is the kind of person who can, through that experience, perhaps now looking back, recognize that even if neither was perfect, one far outsteps the other out of pure intentionality, is what I'd say. And so looking at Frieren, the deeply imperfect Frieren, who in this same episode we learn of another way that she can just be this childlike gremlin who, if you anger her too much, will just throw a 3-day tantrum. At the same time we're learning that, this fact that should sort of knock her down in her validity as a mature person, we are acknowledging that her effort that she has put in makes her a good parent to Fern. And I really appreciate that. I think that's really fucking cool. Meanwhile, though, mixed into all of this, something that I began to pick up on as we were moving through the streets of the city with Frieren explaining all the things that Fern likes, my mind began to go to the episode early in season 1 where they celebrate Fern's birthday. Frieren gets the hairpiece, Fern chases around, sneaking around to see what Frieren was up to, that kind of thing. And that is something that even the story calls out at the end of this sort of interaction. And we know that that is a perfect example of sort of what I'm talking about. Frieren is deeply imperfect when it comes to understanding people and learning about people and knowing what they would like. But she puts in the effort when it's someone she cares about. She tries, despite being someone with comparatively no real interest in pretty things, as they call them. She agonized at a shop on her own, trying to decide what, like, piece of jewelry would be something to make Fern happy, a gift that she would appreciate. Once again, that intentionality is what is being made important. So to call back to that, I think, is a really solid piece of dual emphasis of this idea. Both in the moment it's acknowledged and calls back to a moment that echoed a similar idea. And I very much think that, though it very much won't be perfect, if Stark follows this sort of track record of what Fern likes, what she appreciates, that kind of thing, and applies it to the date they're gonna have, assuming it doesn't get interrupted, I think it ultimately will go well. It may not lead to anything, at least in the near future, but I think if he can manage it, if he can sort of follow through with some of these ideas, it would be good. I think in very much the same way that I've been talking about intentionality on the side of parents to children, I think that it can absolutely apply in the context of a date or any kind of social interaction between a friend or a loved one or a potential romantic partner. Even if what you do on a date is shitty at the end of the day, it doesn't go well, if you go into the scenario trying to make it a good experience for both you and your partner and are clear on that, express as much, then though it won't always come through, I think it is the best foot forward you can have. So I'm tentatively hopeful for Stark's attempt at this date. We'll see how it goes. Plot could always interrupt it as well, but I'm tentatively hopeful. But looking to the other side, Fern has an interesting set of actions and mannerisms and interactions. Even though her scene with Frieren is a lot more joking than it is with the Stark-Frieren interaction, there is still a lot we can take out of this. First off is the fact that the way she engages the conversation is so hesitant and quiet. She doesn't poke her head around the corner and say, "Hey, Frieren, can I ask you something?" She pokes her head around the corner, silently looks at Frieren, waiting to see if Frieren will, look at her or notice her. When that doesn't happen, quietly and slowly approaches, sitting down next to her, glancing over at her a few times, waiting to see if Frieren will react. And when that finally fails, only then does she actually ask for advice. Despite this being easily the person that she has known the longest of anybody. Longer than Hater, longer than Stark. Frieren realistically should be the person Fern is most, not necessarily comfortable around, but most understanding of how to approach situations like this with. But she is still hesitant, despite the fact that I don't think she needs to be, which inevitably points to this being much more just the mental state that Fern is in. Of course, she has always, as I was talking about earlier, been this quieter, more subdued kind of person, but I think in this context, there is also the thing to point to of she is so unsure of how to go about things right now. She doesn't know, she doesn't understand what it will mean to go on a date with Stark, how she should act, what it could mean for their relationship going forward, what she should prepare herself for. And so, much like Stark, much to the confusion of Frieren, she asks for advice. Advice that goes nowhere in this case, because evidently Frieren's considerations of what makes up a date is incredibly broad. It does still tell us about Fern quite a bit, the way she goes about asking about this, and her just general attitude and stuff like that. And that follows with how she goes to bed to cut off the conversation, because it's just ridiculous, but then stays there staring at the ceiling, awake into the night. It's clear that something about Stark asking her out on a date is sticking in her mind, and she doesn't know what to do with it. Of course, in one sense, the shipper voice cries out from the abyss I've shoved it in, saying it's because she likes Stark and she doesn't know how to deal with those feelings, but I think it can be more generalized to some of the stuff I've been talking about. She just, in general, doesn't really know how to deal with her feelings a lot of the time. She's more prone to bottling up things, and then when they burst, they are even still, when they burst, muted in how they come out. In a weird way, actually talking about it now, something that I realize is the person Fern, up to this point, has most consistently, even to her muted extent, expressed her thoughts and feelings to, just on an everyday basis, is Stark. It's in rude, aggressive ways, like constantly calling him a perv or whatever, but in a weird way, Fern is most expressive with Stark. I hadn't really thought about that. I don't know if it necessarily fits into this exact interaction and moment, but that's something to keep in mind, actually, I think. Anyways, though, coming back to this moment, I feel like another thing that sort of complicates things for her is a lot of her emotions, as I mentioned, she is used to pushing down or bottling up to various degrees. But unlike a lot of things that are these little infractions that either Frieren or Stark have made that eventually build to her pouting, lightly bonking them, requiring snacks to be calmed down, whatever it may be. In this case, this is much more of sort of a flashbang, and it isn't inherently a negative emotion. Though it was in a taunting manner, to be asked out on a date is fundamentally something that implies a level of interest. So though where in even much more mundane scenarios, Fern might have just brushed something like that off by calling Stark a perv or whatever, I totally could see a version of events where that's the case, but that isn't the case. Something about it leads her to react in this way, not in anger or disgust, but in, I suppose it would be confusion. It's not really outward confusion. It's not like she's asking Stark, why did you ask that? For what reason would you ask me out on a date or whatever? It's confusion at she doesn't have her same reaction to when he does or says mundane things that she interprets as pervy or whatever, she has this different reaction that we don't concretely know what that is because we aren't inside her head, but it is a fundamentally different reaction, and she may not understand why that is. I like it. It's fun, and it makes me very curious to see where this next episode goes. Just from the little tease of various lines at the end, like they usually do, it seems like there will probably be more to it than just a date, but I do hope that they at least get a good start to the date, or at least a fun and goofy one, before it gets interrupted by whatever else is happening. But with that, I don't think I have necessarily too much else to say. I could go into more detail about the first half, realistically, but I feel like the first half has its really strong beat at the end, and then the rest of it is more sort of covering travel time, I would say. There's a bit of a good nugget in the continued expression of time passing, towns either growing into cities or falling into just disrepair and nothingness as times change, the geography changes, whatever it may be. I feel like that's the main other thing to the first part of the episode, is just that reminder of the passage of time, the loss of things, the change of things, something that inevitably is a foundational theme of the series. But they didn't really touch on that too concretely, so I'm not going to worry about delving into it too much right now either. So with all that said, feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and very special thanks to all of my channel members, including Amorphosilica, Desaize, Pokelove 101, and Unusual Echo at the normal tier, and Kano Nano at the cool person tier. Really appreciate your support, as always, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye!